Hey guys, it's Paul from Passion Consulting, and I'm really excited to show you today how to set up your first project, your first Scrum project with Jira. So let's get straight into it. Setting up your first Scrum project with Jira. So the first question is, what is Jira? So Jira is a software tool used by teams to manage tasks and project work. Every team, no matter what kind of team you're dealing with, whether you're a software development team, you could be a team of builders, you could be any kind of team whatsoever, marketers, usually would benefit from some kind of tool that will help them to collaborate as a team and work on the tasks that they've assigned themselves to deliver whatever their goal is, whatever their end product is. And Jira is one of the tools that I've used and used very successfully to do exactly that. Now, Jira started off life as an issue tracker, and just to explain, especially with software, there are usually issues that the team need to work on, specifically problems, bugs, or defects in any app or any website that teams work on. And Jira started off life as a very simple team to track and fix exactly those type of issues. Since then, it's evolved to be a tool that you can use to store your requirements, you can use to manage test cases, particularly if you're using software. And it's used by software development teams in general, but it really isn't limited to that. So that's what Jira is. 6 reasons why I like to use Jira. So Jira is an online tool. As a piece of software, it has the ability to be accessed online, which means that any team member, no matter where they are, whether they're working from home, whether they're not co-located, which is what we like to do in Agile, but sometimes it's not possible. And team members can be in different parts of the building or different parts of the world. And as an online tool, it means offsite team members can reach it. It can be used to manage any team or project. It's simple enough that it doesn't have to be a software project, even though it's a software tool. It's got a proven track record with Agile and Scrum teams. I've used it since the early 2000s, and it's actually been on the market since 2002. And I can attest to the fact that it works very well with Agile and Scrum principles, as you'll see. It uses Scrum terms and layouts. So with any framework, with any method, there are ways of laying out your work, and there are particular terms that are used. And when you really get into Scrum, it's really handy to have a tool that complements the language of the team. And when the two work hand in hand, it just means that you can deliver a lot easier. And it's really easy to set up projects, but I'm going to let the proof be in the pudding for that one. You're going to see me do that in just a sec. It's also versatile. So whether you're just using it to store your requirements and your tasks for the day, or for your end goal for the entire project or for your entire team, you can also use it for what it was originally built for, which is issue tracking. You can use it to generate reports, and you can use it to generate charts, which are really handy to check up on your progress or to help your stakeholders to see progress. Really good for transparency. So it's a really versatile tool, and it makes it really easier to do all of the above and more. So before we get into actually setting up the tool, let's recap a few Agile/Scrum terms. As I say, the tool is really good for working hand in hand with Scrum. So let's make sure that we understand the language, so we understand when we're setting it up what we're about to see. So the first thing is a sprint. A sprint is a period of time, a month or less, in which we will deliver a piece of our end product. Going back to some of the examples I gave earlier, if we are software people and we're trying to deliver a piece of software, our end product at the end of a month, let's go with a website. So we're creating a website, also applies to an app or any type of software. But in a website, we've got a number of pages, and it may be that we're delivering a few of those pages at the end, before the end of a month. It could be the end of a week, end of 2 weeks, but in a month or less, we're delivering a piece of that website in terms of pages. If we're a team of builders, we could be delivering the foundations of a house, or we could be delivering a room, a kitchen, at the end of a period of time, less than a month. So there's the analogy. If we're marketers, we could be delivering a few marketing plans out of out of a bunch at the end of a period of time less than a month. So that's the sprint. Product backlog is a list of the items desired in your end product. So builders, a list of rooms, website developers, a list of pages, marketers, a list of marketing plans, etc. All of those would go within your product backlog, and essentially that is going to contain all of your requirements, all of the features of your end product. A user story. User story is description of a feature, traditionally called a requirement, from a user's perspective. And there are many user stories per product backlog. So where I talk of a list of items, each one of those items in a list of items in a product backlog, that is, each one of those items is usually within Agile written up in the format of a user story. That's not the only way it has to be done, but this has become the best practice for describing each feature or each requirement in a product backlog. And it's important to know that there are many of them. So where we're listing them, we're listing many user stories usually. Tasks or subtasks, as they're commonly called. So a task is a small piece of work to be carried out by the development team towards creating your own product. So when we say development team here, we're not talking specifically about software or building developers. Those are just two examples I've given. But a development team is the name we give in Scrum to the group of people who are actually doing the work, whose neck is on the line as in they're doing the work to deliver a piece of the end product. And a subtask speaks in their language about the small pieces of work they need to carry out in order to create each user story. So you'd usually have a number of tasks or subtasks to each user story and a number of user stories in the product backlog. And your product backlog would be split up into various pieces. So subsets of user stories, each of which are delivered in a sprint. That's the way it works. So with that said, time to set up our first project and let's get started. I look forward to seeing you in the next video where I'll be showing you exactly how to set up your first project in Jira.